So there I am in this hallway, and it's just me and Isaac Hansen, eldest of the Hansen brothers, name drop. And he is belting out while making direct eye contact, "I want to lay you down in a bed of roses." To which I respond, "Please stop." See, what happened was, I had worked the Hop Jam Festival that the Hansen brothers put on, and they had invited everybody to an after party, and I ran into Isaac in this hallway. And I was working on another event, Blue Well Comedy Festival. Anybody know? All right. And we were doing a comedy karaoke showcase that year. And so I had invited Isaac to come sing at this karaoke showcase. And he was like, "Oh man, I love karaoke." And then unsolicited, started belting out Bon Jovi right in my face. So I said, "Please stop singing," which is probably the first time a Hansen's ever heard that. You can't come to a comedy karaoke event and sing Bon Jovi. You gotta sing Weird Al Yankovic or something. And he was like, "Oh, I love Weird Al, man." And then again, unsolicited, making direct eye contact, starts singing, "Oh, oh, 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 Oreo, what's in the middle? The white stuff." Yeah. Now, not being one to miss an opportunity to harmonize with the Hansen brothers to Weird Al Yankovic, I just jump in, "I love the white stuff, baby, in the middle of an Oreo." Thank you. Clearly my career is not going to be in singing. Anyway, so fun and crazy, unexpected things always happen during events. And I work events for a living. But all of that came crashing down March 2020. So I work for River Parks, and I get the very fortunate position of being able to help put on events like the Oktoberfest that we have here in Tulsa, or the 4th of July, and so many other events. And when the pandemic hit, it canceled all events, and I was worried I would be out of a job. But thankfully, my job transitioned to help the park manage with the pandemic response. So it became my job to put up all those social distance signs and create a whole social media campaign about how you should stay 6 feet away from everybody and update policies and that kind of thing. And prior to the pandemic, I had been working on this event up at Turkey Mountain called Base Camp. And that year I had decided that we were going to have a brand new mascot at this camping event at Turkey Mountain, and it was going to be Bigfoot. So I'd gone out and I had purchased a really nice Bigfoot outfit, and I was going to use it at the campout. Well, the pandemic hit, and Bigfoot sat in this closet. And I remember in that first week of the pandemic, you guys remember that, it sucked. And I remember seeing some meme about how Bigfoot was the original social distancer. And I was like, wait, my job now is promoting social distancing for the park. I have a Bigfoot outfit. And I said, well, what if I dress up as Bigfoot and walk around at Turkey Mountain? And then I can have my friends take blurry photographs of me. And the plan was that they would take the blurry photographs and then they would post them on their social media, and then we'd kind of create this buzz around, what? First the pandemic and now Bigfoot's at Turkey Mountain? What's going on, right? And it would kind of, drum up support for when we unveiled this social media campaign. Well, the plan might have worked a little too well. Within the first couple of days, our office started receiving calls from people asking if it was safe to go to Turkey Mountain because Bigfoot was there. And then we had people calling our office asking if they could go to Turkey Mountain to hunt Bigfoot. Like, so in response to that, I crafted a official press release to be released from our office. And that press release said, and I quote, "We have received numerous reports of an unidentified creature at Turkey Mountain. We have consulted several professional wildlife biologists and can confirm it is not the legendary creature Bigfoot." Holy shit, when you put that on the internet, when an official government agency puts out a denial of a mythological creature, the internet goes bonkers, right? We're talking tens of thousands of shares, millions of views. There were professional Bigfoot bloggers that were writing these extensive blog posts about all of the different sightings. There were Bigfoot authors who were calling my office and asking for a list of the witnesses so they could go personally interview them. At that point, I felt the buzz had been sufficiently generated. And on April 1st, we officially unveiled Social Distance Sasquatch, reminding you to wash your hands for 20 seconds and stay 6 feet away from strangers. So simultaneously, we ruined the dreams of thousands of Bigfoot believers, and we pulled the best fucking April Fool's joke. And it was awesome. Like, people reached out to me after that, and they said, this first couple of weeks of the pandemic has been horrible. And I followed this Bigfoot story with reckless abandon. I got so into it, and I got the biggest laugh. Like, thank you for taking that time and playing this joke. I needed that laugh because this has been a rough couple of weeks. And so that meant a lot to me. A few days later, Newsweek magazine, the nationally syndicated newspaper, name drop, called me out of the blue, and they had heard about Social Distance Sasquatch. And they wanted to do an article on him. And I was like, I just dressed in a Bigfoot outfit and walked around in the woods. You guys, aren't there other stories to report on? So we do the article, and I did the interview, and the article came out a few days later. And the title was, "Park Worker Dresses at Bigfoot, a Hero of the Pandemic." I'm sorry, what? Now, you didn't tell me that part. A hero of the pandemic? What are you talking about? And it turns out Newsweek was doing this whole series on real heroes of the pandemic, right? They were interviewing the doctors that were working hundreds of hours a week without protective equipment. They were interviewing the volunteers that were sewing masks until their fingers bled. They were interviewing the nurses that had to hold up the iPads so that loved ones could say goodbye to the dying. And then a guy in a Bigfoot outfit, like, you all get that that's ridiculous, right? Like, we're all on the same page. That was ridiculous. So, in the end, I am glad that Bigfoot was able to bring some joy and some smiles into people's lives when they needed it. But I don't think anything of that was heroic like those other heroes. But I guess if you are Newsweek magazine, you subscribe to that old adage that not all heroes wear capes. Some of them wear Bigfoot outfits. Thank you, everybody.